Britain and USA face off in the women's welterweight division on the 20th of January for a stunning display of top-tier skill. Both are Olympians, but one is hot on the trail of the other to snatch her IBF welterweight world title away. Make no mistake, this is one of the biggest nights in recent times for women's boxing as a whole. This showdown will be gracing Liverpool as both competitors gear up to give it their all and hold nothing back. This is what got us here. Miss GB guards her title. Natasha Jonas was born on June 18, 1984 in Liverpool, England. Growing up as a younger sibling of a large family where most of the kids engaged in some type of sports, her inspirations were right in front of her. Therefore, Jonas showed a keen interest in sports. She watched the Olympics on TV for the first time when she was just 4 years old and promised her mother that she'd be there. A nice bit of foreshadowing for a promise that she'd eventually fulfill. Throughout her primary school years, she excelled in physical education and participated in every sports club her school offered. Her excellence and dedication in school-level sporting saw her even reaching county-level competitions. Initially, Jonas intended to be a footballer, as her focus shifted there and spent 18 months at St. Peter's College in the US on a football scholarship. However, an injury ended her football career, and she returned to the United Kingdom to study media studies at Edge Hill University, Lancashire. It was during this time that she was recovering and unable to get the sports itch out of her. She started training boxing seriously. This would turn out to be the one sport that took her to new heights. Managing her training in line with her day job against all odds, in 2009, she became the first female boxer to compete for GB Boxing. In the same year, she claimed gold in the 64-kilogram division at the 2009 Women's European Union Amateur Boxing Championship in Podarzik, Bulgaria. She won another gold medal in the inaugural GB Amateur Boxing Championships in 2010. Jonas made history in Qinhuangpao, China in May 2012, when she reached the semifinals of the 2012 ABLE Women's World Boxing Championships to become the first ever female British boxer to qualify for an Olympic Games. This was the childhood promise she made to her mother, which she finally fulfilled. She then went on to take the bronze medal and a place in the 2012 London Olympics. It was very much a landmark event for women's boxing in Great Britain, and it was the perfect personal springboard for her going pro eventually. "I can't describe how brilliant it is to have all these people cheering for you and how much it spurs you on," she said. You're thinking, I'm tiring. But then you think, I can do it. You get that second wind. She remained in amateur competition for 2 more years, winning the silver medal at the 24 European Championship. These achievements paved the way for her successful professional boxing career, which she started in 2017. Coming off to a strong start, she would suffer her first loss against the Brazilian Viviane Obanov in 2018. This was the first of only 2 losses in her professional career so far. However, her victory over Beck Connolly and Bianca Majlas in 2019 led her gaining more than enough steam for her first ever title shot against Terry Harper in 2020. This was her most important fight until then, and it was a rather hard experience. With 2 titles at stake, both fighters gave it their all, but it resulted in a split decision draw. It, however, appeared to leave Jonas rather shaken with a cut. Unfortunately, she would lose her chance at a title the very next year against none other than Katie Taylor of Ireland. It would take until February 2022 and a win against Chris Namus for her to win the WBO belt. The WBC and IBF belts would soon follow in September 2022 and July 2023, respectively. She has a 52.9% knockouts to fight ratio, with 9 of her total 17 fights being knockout wins, 2 of which were in title fights, making her one of the best female boxers Britain has to offer. Perhaps a lot more important than her own fights is her influence upon women's boxing in general, as she's been a vocal proponent of a new generation of young girls in Britain taking up the sport. Jonas also sits on a government boxing board and has since become the first Black British woman to be licensed as a manager. She was also the first woman to win the prestigious British Boxer of the Year award in 2022. All of this compounds the hopes of her going forward towards making yet another title defense soon. Bringing it home to the USA. Mikaela Jocelyn Mayer was born on July 4, 1990 in Los Angeles, California. Life in Los Angeles for her growing up in the 90s and early 2000s was heavily tumultuous. She attended 4 different high schools in just 3 years. Indeed, she had a hard time with education. She did find herself as an aspiring model at the age of 17, but that was soon on the track of going nowhere, and she was frequently getting into trouble. Realizing that she didn't have much time before she had to turn herself around, she looked for options. Quite unlike what most other people would choose, she chose combat sports. This started with Muay Thai and kickboxing at a gym closer to her house. The energizing effect of training, especially the experience of gaining fighting skills, made everything fall into place for her slowly. Soon, this marked the beginning of her journey into the world of boxing, and that was where the money was at. Even to this day, it seems that kickboxing and Muay Thai do not enjoy much of a profile professionally in the United States. Making the switch to boxing made all that much more sense. Beginning amateur competition in 2010, she would coast herself into a satisfying championship victory at the 2011 National Golden Gloves and a victory in the 2012 U.S. Boxing National Championships. These victories emboldened her to try her best to be qualified for the 2012 Olympics, the same stage that made her upcoming opponent Natasha Jonas. Unlike Jones, however, she didn't qualify, but it hadn't been long since she competed in her first tournament, and it was all right. Going on to compete some more, she won more models and championship victories from 2012 to 2014. 2014 and 2015 were the years of back-to-back championship wins at the USA Boxing National Championships in the 60-kilogram category. A boatload experience had been gained along with the very strong CV. This led her to finally succeed in qualifying for the 2016 Olympics. Sadly, her Olympic stint would be very short-lived, as she was defeated in the quarterfinals by Russian Anastasia Belikova. While she was unable to clinch an Olympic medal, it was nonetheless time to take the next step in creating the life that she had set out to create from boxing. Signing with Top Rank in 2017, she went pro. Her career was a steady series of wins all the way from 2017 and 2022, having maintained an undefeated record probably on the basis of a surprise factor. Her power punching style seemed to have taken many of her opponents off guard during this time. Key victories against Vanessa Bradford in 2018 and Yareli Larios in 2019 won her regional titles. She would defeat the then undefeated Iwa Brodnicka in late 2020 to win the WBO title, and in the very next year, she would defeat Maiva Hamadouche to retain the WBO female super featherweight title and win the IBF and inaugural The Ring super featherweight titles. Early 2022 would see her successfully complete a combined defense of her title against Jennifer Hahn, firmly solidifying her status as one of the best female American boxers currently active. Unfortunately, it was the same year in which she experienced a crushing defeat to fellow American Alicia Baumgartner. This resulted in the loss of her titles and the loss of a chance to add 2 more super featherweight titles. The decision didn't go down easily, and Mayer recalls being shocked as the split decision victory for Baumgartner was announced. It was, after all, a very close fight that Mayer feels that she got the better of. There were so many stages of grief I had to go through. Initially, right off the bat, I was pissed. I got out of that last round and gave my coaches a hug. We were smiling. I felt like I had it. We all felt like I had it. It was just shocking to not get my hand raised. Then to have to deal with all the emotions that follow that, she said. Nevertheless, her and Baumgartner's rivalry following up to the match pulled in sizable audiences as far as women's boxing goes. Therefore, it was an important match for women's boxing in the USA as a whole. Mayer may have lost all her titles, but the fight is far from over for her. She picked herself up on the slow path to becoming #1 again and continuing her aim of making something out of herself from boxing. On April 15, 2023, Mayer won the vacant WBC interim lightweight title by defeating Lucy Wildheart. This makes her upcoming bout against Natasha Jonas for the IBF World Welterweight belt all that much more important, let alone the factor of moving up in weight for it. As of now, she has a total of 20 fights, with 19 wins, with 5 coming by way of knockout and 1 loss. Her most recent fight was against Sylvia Bortad on September 2, 2023, which she won. Fighters compared. Natasha Jonas has found much-deserved fame and attention, not only from winning so many accolades as a female boxer, but also because she's a southpaw. As a southpaw, of course, she loves her counterattacks and excellently uses her outmaneuvering skills to bait her opponents into committing to attacks that don't end up landing. She's also about technical skills and impressive techniques with which she controls the battlefield. She often fights off the back foot, using her superior skills to outwork her opponents. Helping this is her high reserve of stamina, which means she can throw a larger volume of jabs to constantly distract her opponent. With a sharp left jab, she breaks her opponents down gradually enough to launch a powerful left hook to deal some real damage. These skills have helped her against power punchers too, and she's come out on top repeatedly. But Mikaela Mayer is known for her versatility in the ring. Even if she may be mistaken as a power puncher at first, she is more than capable of adapting her style to suit the situation and opponent, and is greatly known and appreciated for her boxing IQ and the ability to strategize her fights. On the other hand, she can become a tough power puncher if she needs to, since she certainly has the stamina to carry her. She's shown herself to be capable and comfortable in holding her own in a close quarter slugfest, as seen in her fight against Maiva Hamadouche. More than that, what gets through above it all is her intense work ethic and dedication to the craft. This was another layer to the reasons why she felt completely blindsided by the judge's decision on her fight against Alicia Baumgartner, and that hasn't stopped her from continuing to take herself to even higher heights. Will she take herself up again definitively this time? That remains to be seen. Will Miss GB keep her title? Or will she lose it to her fellow Olympian from across the ocean? Leave us a like and subscribe. We'll see you again when the dust settles on the canvas.